3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading... Live stream is back up. Live stream is back up. I did...
Excellent. Excellent.
There we go. Live stream is back up. Anyway, we were going to talk about... we were just kind of spitballing about balls and air pressure and the State of the Union. And, of course, Rand Paul was here 2 weeks ago, and we didn't really talk about that too much on the show last week. But we've had some pretty full programs. And... you know, there's a couple of things. HB 320, that's what it was. Sorry, from last segment. We have the Atkinson taxpayer we touched on. The Earl of Metzler was trying to intimidate. That's coming up. Of course, Wyndham, the whole situation. Say, look, here's a story. I don't know if it's worthy, whatever. We will do a little editing and throw it up for you. But it'll be your byline. Top of the post will say by you, and it'll have a title. Whether it's yours or ours, that's up to us, but we want to start to move in that direction. And it's not just because we want content. We don't have an issue with content. We have plenty of content.
Although you have to be truthful, we've been a little slow the last few days.
Well,
you've been busy at work. I've been busy at work.
I am not putting up nearly as much stuff as I was, because I've been a little busier, and I've got a couple more irons in the fire, and I'm doing some other things that require a bit more of my time.
Yep.
So I'm trying to focus a little bit more on making the stories I post more important or better, or just, rather than, a couple body blows, take one to the head.
Yeah. No, and as far as bloggers are concerned, we are concerned about getting up fresh content for you folks, and it is a little different because when you do write a long post or you spend a lot of research time, the volume goes down, hopefully the quality goes up, but it does show, and we want people to be able to come to Granite Grok and say, hey, if the mainstream media isn't reporting this, even if the local media isn't reporting this, we're happy to have it, especially if it has to do with your liberty and your freedom.
And we don't care what town it is. And no, Mike's back. Okay, I'll just pick up the phone. It's him. I don't even worry about these. Mike, you there?
Brutal, isn't it?
It is. It is brutal. We just keep... I don't know how long you're going to be with us. Go ahead and talk. We've talked enough.
Yeah. So it's been fun. So I saw the stuff about Kelly Ayotte. So I didn't realize this is a recent vote where she just sided with a whole bunch of people saying climate change is real.
Shaheen Portman? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Portman, by the way. Portman was the one I highlighted during the 2012 convention when he got up to speak, and he was the one that sounded like sour. Tried to make a joke about Romney's shortlist not being short enough to have him on it.
Yes. You turned yourself up. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, and the guy calls himself a Republican? Good grief.
He's not, really. And the Shaheen Portman bill, which I think you've covered and I've covered, is ridiculous. It's just stupid pap. It's garbage.
Yeah. Ask yourself this. How much longer are my dishwasher and my clothes washer and my clothes dryer going to have to run to claim that energy efficiency? And then you're going to find out, energy efficient, and they're not getting the job done.
It's the Shaheen Portman appliance tax. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, they don't last as long, and the new detergents don't work as well. So all in all, you're getting an unhygienic result from more expensive products that don't really save anything.
Well, that's
and what about the energy required to produce? Yeah.
That could describe Obamacare, actually.
Yeah. What about the energy required to produce them when they don't last as long?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's that age-old debate about the cost of making a hybrid or a battery-operated car. I mean, you mine a mineral in Canada, you run it on a train across the country, you put it on a ship, and you send it to Australia. And it goes to Australia where it's processed into its usable form. And then it's stuck on another ship, and it's motored on over to Japan, where a large manufacturing facility processes it into a battery. The battery is then placed into an automobile which is sold and may or may not have the same life expectancy as a regular automobile. You then have to replace that battery at some point if the car lasts long enough, in which case now you have two batteries and you still have to dispose of them. It is not more environmentally sound.
No, it's not. they've covered this in great detail, and then there's the carbon belching power plant that's going to produce the electricity to recharge said car. Because guess what? Nobody wants nukes.
Well, yeah, and what are you going to say? I can't come to work because I tried to charge my battery-powered car, but the clouds went over the solar panels and I couldn't do it.
Well, they're having that problem in Hawaii
I know,
right now.
I read that.
Amazing. For those of you who, the island of Kauai in the Hawaiian Islands has been trying to go to solar, and in that
80%.
80%, and in that climate, it makes sense because it's sunny a whole lot of days there. But there are a fair number of clouds, and when the clouds go over the panels, and having had a solar hot water heater, I've watched this phenomenon happen. All of a sudden, your output goes to crap. And what happens is that the lead-acid batteries that they had at the first part of this were just deep marine batteries, but you can only charge and discharge them so many times. And then they found out, oops, we don't have any electricity anymore. So now they've had to replace them with those expensive batteries you were talking about, the lithium-ion, which some of the rare earth metals necessary only come from China.
Yeah, and countries in South America that don't like us either.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's...
That's right. Lithium, there's whole lake beds of lithium in on the...
we lost him.
On the Chilean border, maybe?
China.
Yeah.
There he is. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, see, it's our crappy phone connection. So you said lake beds on the
This is as good as hell.
Yeah, they are. They're in places that aren't very nice to us, so or don't love us, and so once again we're ignoring a vast domestic resource that would allow us to fuel our own economy and to fly planes and jets and trains and all kinds of things in exchange for a crazy plan that isn't better for the environment, that requires us to obtain minerals from places that we don't have them. I mean,
we don't.
And we don't have, and if we do, wouldn't have them anywhere near in the abundance necessary. So,
or they're regulated out of financial existence.
Right. So there's no,
exactly.
It's stupid.
We can proof the country against cyber attacks, against brownouts, and a whole bunch of things with some of these new modernized nuclear plants that you could put in a concrete basement and run 2 or 3 towns off of.
I know.
But who's going to let you build? But who's going to let you build those things?
Nobody's going to.
Meanwhile, you were talking about 2 psi versus State of the Union.
0.2 or 2. I'm not sure which, but yes.
It was 2, but because it's probably inflated to 30 or 40. But it's just soft enough to make it a little easier to handle, apparently. Anyway,
which is the only points Indianapolis scored, by the way. Thank you. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what we're saying is the leathery brown gas bag won out over the plain brown gas bag.
Yeah. Now, this is the point where I do have to read this. This comes from Robert Heinlein. I've quoted it many times before, and it's on bad luck. And the quote is, "Throughout history, poverty is the normal condition of man. Advances which permit this norm to be exceeded, here and there, now and then, are the work of an exceedingly small minority, frequently despised, often condemned, and almost always opposed by all right-thinking people. Whenever this tiny minority is kept from creating, or, as sometimes happens, is driven out of a society, the people then slip back into abject poverty. This is known as bad luck." And, we're seeing that today. It's like, when new owners of a company decide to plunder its treasury, run the company down, let its assets go to crap, don't replenish it, and then they wonder at the end of 5 or 6 years, how come their cash flow is now gone negative? That's not bad luck, that's bad management. And I think we're seeing that here in the United States, where those who can be productive are being so hamstrung, just a case of, mining for the materials that we need, or using the energy that a modern industrial society needs, being hamstrung. We are being pushed into bad luck. And some of these people actually want bad luck. They don't want us to be where we've been for quite some time.
And that's interesting because the EPA regulations, everything for the last 50 years that has been coming along that's designed, what made nuclear power plants unaffordable. It's all regulation. It has nothing to do with the free market. It has everything to do with preventing people from being able to succeed. And the same rule applies when we talk about school boards, right to know requests, public documents. they do the exact same thing. They make it too difficult to participate. They make it too expensive to go around the inability to participate, and then you're completely shut out.
Yeah. Or it's people like Jean Shaheen when she protested on the behalf of the Clamshell Alliance when Seabrook was being built. So many things were put in the pathway legally to make it, abjectly too, very expensive. And then they had the gall to say we shouldn't have nuclear energy because it's too expensive. You just can't make this stuff up.
That's right. This room shouldn't be blue.
The Seabrook fight was going on when I came to this country, and it went on for a decade, I think.
Yeah.
And then they half opened it, and then not only did the regulators try and regulate it out of existence, but they accepted PSNH's request to load the cost onto the backs of the public.
Yeah, and now you're seeing the same thing with Writ Small, with the Bow Power Plant at PSNH, now EverSource, and that's another joke we could talk about.
Yeah, we talked about
with a coal scrubber unit at their Bow plant, where you got to put this on, and it turned out to be expensive for a whole bunch of reasons, including regulations and lawsuits, and now they're complaining about the high cost being put on the backs of the citizens. Well, gee golly, look at yourselves, but they won't.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. This is GrokTALK.
This is a coalition of New Hampshire taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW, New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
Let it snow, and it is.
No, stop it. Where's that global warming when you need it?
I know. Well, maybe the global warming is why we're having snow, Skip. Come on, catch up.
Got to get with the Democrat program there, Skip.
That's right,
continuing from what you said and saying, to the lawmakers to look at themselves, and I say the citizens need to look at themselves and stop voting for heavy regulatory state. You're voting for these lawmakers that are trying to regulate us out of existence. We all want a clean environment, but we don't want the regulations to be so onerous that no business can be done.
I think part of that, though, Mike, is that it's not going to happen until you, for whatever scenario you're looking at, you hit that tipping point where then it radically affects people's lives. And then they go, oh crap, either taxes go way up, or if this power stuff keeps going the way that it seems to be, you're going to start getting rolling brownouts. And then people will wake up. Because let's be clear, we are the extreme minority of folks who take an active interest in politics and the news. Most people don't want to. They've got their own lives, they've got their own careers, they've got everything going on under the sun. The last thing they want to think about is government and politics. That's just the way it is, until it knocks on the door and then pushes you out of the way and walks in and stridently proclaims, the personal is politics, the politics is personal, the progressive mantra, and I'm here to stay with you. And that's when people get upset, but not until.
So you think they won't get upset until literally the government workers are garrisoned in their houses?
Well, they won't care until the human waste product hits the oscillating air device in the ceiling for their particular complaint. I mean, that's what really, a lot of politics in a lot of cases, at least on the right, is more reactive. The left is proactive. They're forcing the crap to get ready to explode upward to hit the fan. And you're seeing that, with a lot of these ongoing Ferguson debates, or confrontations now where under the rubric of the hashtag All Black Lives Matter, you're seeing activists going into just regular restaurants and just plopping themselves, especially if they're black, sitting down at tables occupied by white people to say, we're going to force you to confront this. It's sort of like Eric Holder's statement of, we are a nation of, we're a nation of cowards when it comes to race. It's like, most people don't even want to think about race. They just want to go, you're a person. And this kind of blatant in your face where they're eliminating any personal space at all, I'm hoping it's going to backfire because people don't want to do this.
I hope a few of them die, Skip.
Mike's gone militant again.
An armed society is a polite society. You do not have the right to push yourself in somebody's face and be rude indefinitely without getting some kind of flashpoint.
Yeah, but that's what they're looking for, Mike. They really are looking for that so that it becomes a catch-22 self-feeding frenzy. Look, we came in and look what they did to us. They're looking for that confrontation.
That's exactly what they're looking for. Exactly.
Well,
snow's not that bad, by the way.
So do we have to wait until that comes to our front door and then we have to shoot them, or do we shoot them in the street because they assaulted us in the street? And the other thing is, let's start our own hashtag. All black characters matter. Martin Luther King.
Well, see, I look at it this way. I don't care whether you're black, white, red, brown, or purple with pink polka dots. All lives matter. All character counts. The problem is that too many people, once again, I bring up the rubric, they care about their rights, but they don't care about their responsibilities. They believe that there's nothing different between... they willy-nilly say, I've got the right, I've got the right. No, you don't. Our rights are defined, are enumerated, not defined, enumerated in the Constitution. But it's not limited to just that. But people forget that it was a document meant to limit government. And these people are all about using government to enforce their will and their morality upon everybody else, whether you like it or not. They do not want to give you the freedom to think or do on your own, which is the whole one of the whole reasons of Granite Rock.
Exactly. We're here to think and speak freely. And, these folks are welcome to all the freedoms too, but their freedom doesn't extend to invading other people's space and being obnoxious just for the sake of being obnoxious. You can stand on a street corner and say obnoxious stuff all day long. You're allowed to do that in a lot of places, including the United States. Especially in the United States. But you're not allowed to stick your face into mine and start screaming at me. You're not allowed to invade my house, my restaurant table, and a whole bunch of other things.
If I was sitting at a restaurant where that happened to me, I would immediately get the manager and say, if you don't have these people removed and comp my meal, I'm just walking out and you're going to eat that meal all on your own.
I said they should leave the check for the goofy person who sat down and stared at him. Oh, you're paying, thank you.
No, well, you know how that's going to go over.
Well, I mean, if somebody's comping the meal or you're walking out, what difference does it make?
Yeah. Well, they could... I mean, basically, that's where you kind of say, you lose no matter what because they want the confrontation. So if the police come and yank them out, they've gotten the confrontation they want in the first place.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. Are you pro-life? How do you feel about guns? How do you?
Well, yeah, and that's basically where we could be equipped to do that. All of us have cameras. All of us have the knowledge to take these yahoos on. And we could turn it into a screaming match and more than hold our own. But the ordinary person, they just want to have a nice meal with family and friends, have the regular kind of chit-chat that they normally have. And if they're going to have an argument, it's usually a family or friend argument. You don't need interlopers coming in and...
Playfully flick your peas at them.
Oh, food fight. Go all Animal House on them. That is still my favorite, one of my favorite scenes.
Here,
from
could you hold my soup?
Yeah.
I need your lap. Thank you.
Yeah, just casually go, and listen! Oh, I'm so sorry.
Wait, let me wash that off. Here's some water. How are you? You like sitting at my table?
Yes, and you're going to be paying how much of the check?
Yeah.
I saw a couple of the pictures of these.
If you don't order something, you're going to make you leave.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures of these folks, and you talk about angry people just sitting on the chair. I mean, all they're trying to do is intimidate and make you feel uncomfortable. That's the whole idea.
You're like,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sit there. Be a schlump.
yeah. Get me, you're the wait staff. That's what you are.
Yeah. Congratulations. You're validating every single stereotype that you bring forth.
Put little post-it notes on it. Whatever you can think of, you know.
Yeah.
Don't be confrontational. Make them do something stupid.
Yeah. Ridicule them.
Ridicule.
Use
Absolutely.
Alinsky's rules against them, because that's
Yes.
what they're trying to do to you.
Exactly. You know,
And I still say all conservatives ought to be reading the book, or at least read the abridged Alinsky's
I would tell
Rules for
everybody
Radicals
at my-
on Granite
I would tell everybody at my table to stare back.
I'm listening to D'Souza's America just because I've not had a chance to read it, in one sitting. And I'm just going through the piece right now where he's talking about Alinsky and his rules and his acknowledgement of the devil and Machiavelli and just the techniques and how it's all about deceit. In fact, it sounds remarkably like the deceit of Islam.
Taqiyya.
You pretend to be like the other until you can take control.
Yeah. Well, there's a variety of things, and there's also the changing of the language, which I've talked and blogged about quite a bit, and you saw that on full force, Alinsky, in Obama's State of the Union address. And really all it is just the basic obfuscation of the language, how to get from the haves to give to the have-nots, because they've changed the morality.
Mike, I'm cutting you off. We're going to be out of here. So we have a show next week. We do not have a show February 7th. But that's how it goes. So next week we'll have more guests, more news, more information, more culture, more politics, more GrokTALK. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Skip. He's Steve.
What?
Mike's on the phone.
Our wives are going to be very surprised.
We'll see you. Bye.
Grok TV.